Hello, WanderMom family. My name is Shay Nicole. I don't know how many times I done tried to record this video, but I'm at my wit's end. One thing about me is I try to strive for perfection with whatever I do, but the thing about it is I am far from perfect. I have children and myself. All of us have ADHD, so a lot of things don't really go as planned. Ever. But I really wanted to take this time to really basically give a background of me and my family and what we plan to do moving forward. But I kept trying to get to a point where it was just completely quiet so that you all can really understand where I'm coming from and hear what you know what's going on and what we're planning on doing. But the thing about it is being a single parent, there isn't really times where it's quiet unless I'm at work. Like seriously, that is my only time that I have peace. Even when they're asleep, they're snoring loud. So that's not really called complete silence. So I do apologize in advance, but hey, this is the Wonder Mom family, and you all are a part of that. So get used to the background sounds. Basically 2023 around September, I ended up selling my home and moving in with my mom because I was just going through a lot of stuff. And I really wanted to, the things that was going on in my house, it seemed like it was so much going wrong with my house. I felt like I needed to leave because it was causing me mental anguish. So what I did was I sold the house in hopes of getting an apartment and paying up the apartment for that year with the money that I paid for the house. That didn't really work out. I applied for apartments, but all the apartments required that you make 3 times the amount the rent was, and I just did not make that amount. And I really don't know of anybody that I know of that actually does make 3 times the rent. So I was having no luck with that. Even though I knew exactly what I was going to do, I was planning on getting the apartment and paying up the rent for that whole year. I wasn't even given the opportunity to get to that point. I wasn't given the chance to actually get an apartment to get to that point. So that put me in kind of a rough spot because I knew what I had planned. I knew that I had to get out of my old house, but I also knew that I could not stay with my mom and my stepdad either because when I left home, I was 18 when I left home, and I never went back to stay for a long period of time. I may have spent the night or went over there when something happened to my car or something like that, but just staying over there, that's just something that I didn't want to do. Once I got grown, I wanted to be grown. I didn't want to be at home with mama having to follow rules, be in the house before 9 o'clock and things like that. So I wanted my freedom. So me going back there, it kind of started to feel a bit claustrophobic. I felt like I was trapped. I couldn't move. I couldn't do what I wanted to do. I was walking on eggshells. Didn't want the children to disturb anybody. But the thing is, children are going to be children regardless. It don't matter what the adults want or how we feel. A child is going to be a child no matter what. We might not like the things that they do all the time. We can try to correct them, but it's a child. So by my mom being up in the age and her husband also, they weren't really used to having children around because even though they raised us, we were pretty mature for our age because of the stuff that was going on during those times in our lives. I don't think that I really had the opportunity to have childish thoughts. So it was different. It was different with going back home. So that was in September of 2023. So since the first plan of getting an apartment in the Tennessee area didn't work, I started applying for the Mississippi area, trying to see if I could get an apartment in the Mississippi. I even tried Arkansas. I tried basically anything within close range of my hometown, basically, but could not find one thing, not a single thing. So what I ended up doing, I made a decision because there was like this pivotal point where we was with my mom and something happened and it just really just rubbed me the wrong way. And I decided, I was like, yeah, even though they did tell me that we were more than welcome to stay as long as we needed, I felt like our time was up. Our time was up. We had to go. So, with that being said, I end up starting to apply for jobs elsewhere. And I decided, I was like, okay, I'm going to look at the cost of living in different states to see if I can find a job or a better opportunity somewhere where I can actually get a job and get the apartment. So what I ended up doing, I applied for, I think it was 5 different states: Oklahoma, I think it was Indiana or Indianapolis. I'm not really sure which one it was. It was Iowa, and it was 2 other ones, but I can't really recall which one it was. But basically, they had the same almost the same rates as it living in Tennessee. So I wanted to use that to try to help us find something. I was willing to stay in a 1-bedroom because the home that we lived in, it was a 2-bedroom. And even though it was a 2-bedroom, all 3 of my children stayed right on top of me. So I was like, I'm through with the idea of getting a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom so everybody can have their own space. Because even when we have the space, they still right on top of me. So I decided I was just gonna look for the basic necessities that we needed. We needed a house with at least a 1-bedroom, 1 bath, and we needed a washer and dryer. I had to have a washer and dryer. I would have liked to have like a yard or something like that, but it was fine at the time. Around December, I had gotten so many rejections and so many letters saying basically that they had chosen other candidates that it put me more of in like a slump. I was like, I just wanted to be by myself. I had to figure out what we were going to do. We had to do something different. I just didn't know what it is that we needed to do. So even though I hadn't had any progress, I continued to apply, but in the back of my mind, it was like this voice just kept telling me, yeah, you're stuck in Memphis. You're stuck in this situation. You can't run from this. You have to stay. You have to endure. And you have to go through it. And the thing is, I was not mentally prepared to continue to stay in Tennessee. My mind just couldn't take staying there anymore. It was just too much stuff going on, and I was so overwhelmed. See, by all of us having ADHD, it can get overwhelming with just us. But when having other people in the mix with different personalities that I'm not used to dealing with on a daily basis, it became too much for me. I always told them, I was like, I can deal with my kids because they're my children. I have to. They're mine. But dealing with other adults that are doing or saying things that I don't really agree with or I'm uncomfortable with, that's a different thing. And then having to deal with it because you're not able to create those boundaries that you could when you were at your own home, that was an issue also. So around December, like I was saying, I had gotten in the slump, but at the same time, I was just like, okay, this is just it. This is it. There's nothing better. There's nothing that I can do. This is it. I kept applying in spite of, and around March, I ended up doing an interview. I finally got me an interview. Got the interview. I end up doing an interview with a guy named Ed. We did the interview. He said I did good with the interview. He called me back like a week later and told me that I got the position. Got the position. I was really excited, really excited. He was like, okay, so when do you think that you can come to Iowa? And that's where I end up going. And I told him, I was like, I really don't know an exact time, but you tell me when I need to start and I'll start preparing for that time. So I don't know why I didn't think about the fact that the kids still had to go to school. They still needed to finish school. I didn't want to take them out of school. But I knew that I had to go. I had to get out of that situation. I had to change my environment for my mental sake. So around the end of March, I end up getting I got the job. I got the job around March the 3rd. I was supposed to start the position. I believe it was March the 27th. I applied for different apartments. I made sure that the apartments that I applied for met all the requirements. But the thing is, I did not submit any of those applications. I only submitted one application. And that one application that I submitted, it had every box that I wanted checked off on it. And I was so happy when that apartment actually approved me. The lady called me. She called me. And she was talking to me. She was like, and do you have any other income? Do you have this? Do you have that? And she was just running down different things. And I thought, I was like, I'm sorry, but I don't have any of these things that you're naming. I said, sometimes I get child support. Sometimes. That might be once or twice out of the year. Sometimes I get a bonus. That's a sometimes. I said, but the only thing that I can guarantee is what I'm doing and what I can bring to the table. So I don't know what she put in the computer, but she got me approved. I ended up getting approved. I was so happy. I think I cried for like the first time in that whole year. I really just cried. And it's just, I was shocked because I'm like, no matter what I've gone through, in every situation that I've had, there's always been this point where I realized that God always opens a door for me and my family no matter what, because he sees and he knows exactly what I'm going through, even when I'm not able to verbally say it out loud. And a lot of times I internalize a lot of my feelings because I don't want the way that I'm feeling or the things that I'm going through to affect my children the way that the things that my mother went through affected me. I don't want them to have to think about adult things at a child age. I want them to be children. So with that being said, I was just I thanking God, because nobody but God could open those doors the way that they did. Because I had already said, by me being a single parent, you can't just quit your job. You can't just stop. You have to have a secondary plan. There has to be something else. There's just you just can't stop and go. You have to have a plan. There has to be a plan. And with him securing that job for me and securing that apartment for me, I was ecstatic. And the apartment was 3 minutes away from my job driving distance and 22 minutes away from my job walking distance. The time that I started this job, I actually walked every single day while my children were away. I walked every single day. Rain, sleet, I walked. It was during the summertime. It was so freaking hot. So hot. I don't know how I did it because I'm not even an outdoors person. I hate being outside for too long. I just can't stand it. But I walked. My car was still in Tennessee. I was in Iowa. I hadn't brought anything with me but one bag with just clothes for me to go to work in. I think I spent like $200 buying just work pants at the a $10 store. That's it. I bought work pants and 2 packs of t-shirts, all black t-shirts, 2 packs of all black t-shirts off of Amazon. And that's it. I didn't have a bed when I got here. I didn't have anything. And I gradually got those things while my sister basically took care of my children back in Tennessee. She allowed me that chance to basically get established out here. And this was exactly what we needed. I'm just going to be straight up with you. This was exactly what we needed. We needed a chance to de-escalate, to unwind, to take things off of my plate, to take things off of my mind, to allow me to see that I'm not really living. I'm just going through the motions. I don't know. It just got to a point. It was just very eye-opening. It allowed me to reflect on myself and reflect on what I was doing as a parent. And it also showed me some things that I shouldn't have stayed in for so long. I wish that this realization would have came a few years back, because now I got a 14-year-old. She's 4 years away from being 18, and I'm at this point now, I'm coming to the realization, but I only got 4 years that I can make up for it. And that's where what I've been working on since we've been out here in Iowa. But at the same time, I got to a certain point where I feel like it's no longer about just making up for it. It's about becoming the person that I needed when I was that child. So I want to become that person for my children. With that being said, a lot of things have started to coming up on this year that I've been out here in Iowa. And I found that while we did get the relief from like the emotional burdens and stuff that we were going through, there are other things that we still have yet to tackle. One thing was like my child, my son, he was really getting bullied in Tennessee. And it was taking an emotional toll on me, because they had made a policy where you couldn't go into the school, and I was livid. I really had gotten to the point I just couldn't take it no more. One day he came in the car. He wasn't saying anything, but I could tell something was wrong. And as soon as the door closed, he just burst out to crying, and I just went in a shock. And my first response was, okay, I jumped out the car and I tried to storm into the school. But of course I wasn't allowed in, and thank God I wasn't, because I had gotten to the point I was just so sick of it. I wanted somebody to pay for the pain that he had to endure. And talking to the school was getting me nowhere. They can call me every day about his behavior, but they couldn't call me to let me know what was the update on who hit him or who kicked him or who punched him, which was infuriating. So we moved out here. Everything has been going fine, but I found out through the school that a lot of the things that they said he was really great at the Tennessee school, he was far behind his grade level. So with that realization, we've decided we're going to start homeschooling. We've had a few issues with the girls in school, but not as many as my son. It seems like the in school setting just doesn't fit our family as a whole. And by me being a single parent, I need the pieces to fit us all. I need it to fit us all. So the best thing that I could do in this situation is to take a year off from school, get him situated where he's caught up to his grade level, and then get him prepared for the next grade level, and also teach my daughters along the way as well. I want to travel and teach them a different way of learning. I want to see if this is the best fit for us as a family. Nothing is guaranteed. Like, nothing really is guaranteed, but I want to make sure that I'm putting my best foot forward to make sure that they have the best education that they can have. And if that means that I have to take my time and go over the different lessons with them, then that's just what I have to do, because I am responsible for them. So we're going to take this year, after they get out of school, we're going to take this time all the way to the next year, around the same time that they go back into school. We're going to take a year and we're going to travel the United States. I want us to travel and just get some hands-on learning, do like workshops, go to museums, different arts and crafts type things. I want to change the learning style. I don't want us to just try to make ourselves fit into this cookie cutter version that has been presented to us, and we just keep following along even though we know we don't fit this type. I believe that if we find the best fit for our learning style, then that's when we can actually become the best version of ourselves. So this is my attempt at doing this, and even though I don't know what may happen, I am going to try my best in whatever I do. So what we're going to do going forward, we're going to be recording exactly what we're doing, where we're at. We're going to take you guys along the way. Just setting the relationship with the WanderMom family, because that's who you all are. You all are our family. And I want you all to go along with us and see how we progress along. This doesn't start until June the 1st, but what I'm doing now is basically just working through my nerves, because to be honest, I am extremely introverted and I do not like talking unless I have something to say. That's just who I am. But I know that I have to have some source of income in order for us to do the things that I'm trying to do. So if that means me getting uncomfortable, then that's just what I have to do. I'll continue to talk to you all and let you all know what's going on. And it may not be perfect. I'll continue to work on it. I continue to apologize, but this is just the reality of what it is. I want what I want for my family, and I want you all to join us and just keep following along with us. We have TikTok, we have YouTube, we have Instagram, we have blog posts. Just continue to follow along. Different things have different situations or different information on them. So whatever type of information you're particularly interested in, please make sure you like, follow, subscribe, or whatever it is that they're asking you to do. Just click it. It'll be worth your time, even if it's just for a moment. Let us take a moment of your time. Thank you. Have a good day, Wonder Family.